Welcome to Hockey Nights in Vegas. My name is Eddie Rivkin. I am joined by Gemini Award winner for the most profane rant in the history of podcasts, Sarina Taylor.
I have to tell you a quick story.
Jesus, I'm just getting... Go ahead.
I know, God forbid, someone came up to me at the gym the other day and said, I may be really out of it, but what the fuck is a boy aquarium? And I go, did you watch our podcast? He goes, yeah. And he goes, I think you would probably win for the most F-bombs dropped. And I was like, did you see the one where Eddie had the ticker? He's like, no. So yes, it's a thing. I'm like, this is very normal.
Yeah, it's completely normal.
Gemini, I'm impressed.
Gemini, I had to Google what the Canadian equivalent of the Emmy was.
How the fuck did you know what a Gemini was? Or Juno as well.
Juno's the British Academy Awards, though, I think.
No, Junos are Canadian.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Gemini was still good.
Gemini's fine, yeah.
So it's April Fool's Day.
This has been an April Fool's year so far.
Yeah, so I guess we should probably not fuck around anymore and just talk about the 500-pound gorilla in the room. With 8 games left in the season, we woke up late Sunday morning and found out that Kelly had decided to make a change in the coaching department with the Vegas Golden Knights, relieved Bruce Cassidy of his responsibilities, and brought on John Tortorella. And to say that the range of emotion and the range of comments from intelligent hockey to Vegas Golden Knights fan is miles and chasms long.
And apart.
And apart, yeah. And apart. I mean, there's a lot to unpack. So let's try to do this sort of systematically and start out with first take and then why now?
You want my opinion?
Yeah, I don't want to talk for a half hour by myself and just look at you.
Yes, you do. So I was probably, and I've been telling everybody this, I was probably the least shocked person when it happened. I mean, everybody was like, what? And I was like, I'm kind of surprised it didn't happen sooner. And I've touched on it in here. We've touched on it in here. And I kind of could see it coming. You could realistically, if you know the game well enough and whatever, you can see that that's the only thing that could have given, if that makes sense, right? Like, you're not going to change the players at this point. Nothing's going to change. So I wasn't surprised. I was probably a little more shocked that it was John Tortorella because his name never even came into my mind because I didn't really think that, oh yeah, Bruce, if we lose another game, Bruce is going to go. This isn't Toronto. Where Craig Berube still has a job.
For now.
Yeah. So, but what was the second thing you said?
Why now?
Why now?
Because my argument is Kelly didn't wake up in the morning and make this decision.
Oh, absolutely not.
He's a thoroughly thoughtful, deliberate thinking hockey mind. 8 games isn't a fair audition for John Tortorella. In my opinion, they could have done this 5 games after they come out of the Olympic break when they basically stunk the joint out for the first 5 or 6 games and given Tortorella 15, 18, 20, 21 games, something like that to get them home and at least see what they have. The talent hasn't changed. The skill level hasn't changed. Nothing about the roster has really changed. But clearly, something was the breaking point, and I struggle to wonder what the breaking point was because even though they hadn't got a bunch of really good results over the last week or 10 days, the quality of their play improved. They should have won the game in Dallas that we were at the watch party. They did beat Dallas. The quality of play had been steadily improving, and then this. So my question is, what do you think was what was the straw that broke the camel's back where Kelly just said, we got to do this right now or this season is over?
God, I want to ask that so bad. I want to, but I just don't feel right about that. But because I don't know if there is one thing. It could be a mix of things whereas he does feel a little loyal to Bruce, right? Like I saw people
got him the mug.
Right. I saw people throw the word loyalty. He's not loyal to anybody. Are you fucking serious?
Stupid. Shut up.
But also too, Kelly potentially, I think that knowing how calculated he is, he probably had this down the pipe for a while, specifically Tortorella for a while, but never really, he probably gave it a deadline and said, okay, if we are in this situation and still scraping for a playoff spot 10 games from now or with 10 games left in the season, I have to do something. And so why now? I think it's probably, Kelly doesn't fuck around, obviously. And it was just the point where we cannot be wondering, are we ever going to pick it up? There's 8 fucking games left or whatever, right? When the decision was made, or however many, less than 10. 8. So it's like, are we ever going to get this going? We can't wait. We're like on the verge of not making the playoffs. It's a win-win for everybody, minus Bruce, of course. But Bruce is not in the equation anymore. So John Tortorella comes in. It's like, hey, listen, we've only got 8 regular season games left. You do your best. But if he does do something and Vegas makes the playoffs, everybody wins. If he doesn't, well, it was whatever was going to happen with Bruce was going to happen anyway. Oh, I could just say so many things.
Well, I mean, 90% of this episode is going to be discussing is because it has to be. I thought, and I think that we might have actually talked about it, who's a better coach that's out there than Bruce? And much like other really good coaches, like Pete DeBoer is the best example. His shelf life is about 3 years, right? He comes in like gangbusters, turns teams around, gets a deep run, doesn't have the cup yet, but he has a proven history of showing up at an organization and making that organization a winner, and then his message goes stale after, 3 years or whatever. Bruce was in Boston. We've talked about why his exit was, and it just seems like to me that it's not, I don't want to say it's not fair to Torts, but Torts he's a good motivator, right? He's a very direct guy. He's a very on message. Players know exactly where they are with him. They know exactly what their expectations are from him. I saw one of the idiots online posted something about, Torts is here. Marner's going to ask for a trade.
Oh, everybody's been posting that.
Right. And it's the dumbest fucking thing in the world because you know what Torts preaches more than anything? Accountability on the ice. Block shots, play defense, everything that Mitch does. Mitch is a totally 100% accountable player on the ice. And he also played for a bit of a prick in Toronto for a while. I mean, Sheldon Keefe's not known as a warm, fuzzy coach behind the bench either. So that's just fucking stupid.
It's not because of the Sheldon Keefe. It's because of the Mike Babcock thing. Because the rumor is that Mike Babcock, I heard a lot of bad things. Decent person, he's another good Saskatchewan guy.
Monster as a hockey coach. But absolute fucking tyrant of a monster.
Terrible things that he did to players that should not happen.
Right.
And Mitch was part of that. And so that's why everybody's like, oh, Mitch isn't going to be able to handle Torts because he's soft and whatever. Mike Babcock was a fucking tyrant. And there's a reason he doesn't have a job in the NHL right now. And I don't want to cut down Babs. That's not what this is about. But there's a reason Mike Babcock is coaching university hockey in Saskatchewan.
And probably will never get an NHL.
Never.
job.
Columbus tried to hire him for 5 minutes?
Yeah, the whole cell phone thing on day one.
It's like, there's a reason, and there's a reason that Tortorella keeps coming back. He keeps things above ground. Babcock was not like that, from what I understand. So
we've seen one game. I mean, I don't think we know anything. I think that his press conference afterward was exactly spot on. We were really nervous in the first period, and we said it. We're like, what the hell's going on here? They were nervous, right? At some point, and Jack said it, it's the player's fault that Bruce got fucking assassinated.
Yeah.
It's 1,000 fucking percent.
Yeah.
It's on that room. And that room has a choice. They're now all murderers because they got Bruce. They can either grow the fuck up, realize what they did, and start playing to their potential, or Kelly's going to start shaking things up in a really big way pretty soon. And accountability was the third word out of Bruce's mouth in his first press conference. The players have ultimate accountability, and the players are the ones who cost Bruce Cassidy their job. And if you have a disagreement with that point, please say something to me so I can respond.
So, and just to clarify, I agree, and or however you want to word it, things get stale after a while. That's what people don't understand. They get stale. And whether you like Bruce and you want to play well for him or whatever, there's a lot of stuff to unpack here. One of my friends who lives here, who's from Canada originally, he played professionally in the CFL his whole career. He played at Utah, played in the CFL. He's from lived in Regina for 100 years. And he messaged me and he goes, man, hockey's a ruthless fucking game because the second the players don't put out, the coach is held accountable. And it's not like that in football.
Can't fire the players.
Right. But it's different. And he's right. But also, too, I was talking to one of the media guys the other night, and he's like, I need to pick your brain because we've talked about this before. And he goes, okay, you understand Kelly probably more than anybody because you guys are the same, like from the same place. He's like, is it really a no fuck around attitude up there in general? And I was like, yeah, I mean, I guess, right? And he's like, it's not that it was ruthless. It was just the cord is being cut. And just because it wasn't comfortable with everybody in VGK land or because there was only 8 games left, too fucking bad. The Vegas Golden Knights were still on the verge of trying to make the playoffs. And Kelly's like, I'm not losing one more night of sleep or whatever, right? That's not what he said. But it's like, I gotta make a change. And it was getting stale. And yes, the players are partially responsible.
Not partially.
But here's why I can't say 100%. I'm going to tell you this right now. Coaches get stale with everybody. I coached group fitness for years. People get sick of going to the same thing. They just do. They stop responding. It's human nature. What I saw at practice, it was immediate night and day difference. And if anybody doesn't think that this was the time Bruce had to go, they're crazy. Torts is boom, boom. And all of a sudden they finish a drill and they're skating a couple laps. And Hannah's like, oh, getting bag skated already. I'm like, they're not getting bag skated. This is fucking what hockey practice is supposed to be. And you could immediately see the team dynamic. Everyone was going. Before practice, Berkey had some of the guys on the other rink before the practice started, like 4 guys just doing some drills with Akira Schmid because Carter Hart and Aiden Hill were at practice. And you can see them responding as a team. So I don't want to blame the players 100% because Bruce wasn't shaking things up enough. You could see it immediately. Every guy was going on the drills. Every guy involved, team. And the first day that they didn't skate, Monday, Kelly said that he got a chance to just sit down with John, everything kind of just coming down, and the vibe in the room was immediately better. The guys were lifting. They didn't skate, but they went in and lifted. There was no meeting. Everybody there's a different vibe. So again, I feel like, yes, the players, their play and the discombobulation did lead to Bruce losing his job. But ultimately, I think we're going to see a different, because there just needed to be a shakeup. There needed to be. When you see practice and you see the difference, you're going to be like, this is old school fucking hockey practice right here. Guys are moving, guys are skating, everybody's doing thing as a team. Like, it was night and day difference.
If you're not going to blame the players 100%, who's going to get the other part of the blame?
Bruce, it's his fucking job.
How much?
I don't know. I'm not going to put a number on it, but like at some point, that's where we can't lose sight of the fact that it is Bruce's job to win hockey games. It's Bill Foley's job to put the right people in place. Then it's the George McPhees and the Kellys that have to hire the right people there. Then it's the head coaches that have to deal with what they've got on the ice. Then it's the players that are accountable for themselves.
That brings up a good question. How much of this was Kelly and how much of it was George McPhee?
I have no idea.
I understand that, but speculate.
Probably majority Kelly. Okay. Because I think that the way, I I personally trust every decision Kelly makes, and I think that's why Kelly's in the position he's in. They trust the job Kelly's going to do. He's a proven winner for decades now. And like, I think that's just where it comes from. I'm sure there's conversations
between Kelly and George.
Yeah, Kelly didn't wake up, like you said, Sunday morning. You know what? Everybody's got the day off today. I'm going to shake some shit up. Like, it doesn't work like that. And George McPhee reads it on fucking from Elliot Friedman. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure there was a lot of conversations, maybe even with Mr. Foley. I'm not really sure, but
I think they probably just called the old man and said, we're going to make a change. And the old man probably said, well, we ain't playing that well anyway, so
yeah.
You're here to make the hard decisions. I back your play. And that was probably the extent of his participation in it.
And for the record, like, not every NHL team acts like that, right? Like, everybody's a little different. Owners are all different. Some are more involved. Some are way less involved. So, but I think that they trust Kelly and George to make the right decisions because they have.
My concern, one of my concerns, was listening to Mark Stone talk about being stale and all of the other things. And those are things that the captain is responsible for. And this is not a knock on his leadership, because his leadership is proven years and years and years and years and years. But if we know that this was the situation, and we know that this has been the situation for certainly longer than a couple of days, weeks, or even months, I think it's fair to say, is there any fault in the leadership in the room?
I think, and I hate to play both sides of this.
But you have to.
But you have to. There always is.
There has to be.
The captain has to have some accountability. It's not always his fault, right? Of course. But I think that that's Mark Stone taking accountability for it. And it's like this conversation I had with the media person the other night where he was picking my brain about things. I'm like, sometimes it's just the way it goes. Sometimes blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, your team is different probably by at least 25% every single year. Do you know how hard it is to keep a flow when the teams, and there's so many trades and there's so many guys going? It wasn't like that back in the day. So the old coaching styles, the captains don't stay with the team as long, usually, right? Some 50-50, whatever. It's all over the place now. So it's a completely different vibe because you're bringing new guys in. You know, that guy could step in anywhere, but it's still a different ballgame had Mitch been here for the last 6 or 7 years, right? And it's kind of like that with everybody. But I appreciate Mark Stone stepping up and saying that. It's interesting because some captains lead by example. Others are leaders in the dressing room. You know what I mean?
Yeah, some are talking leaders and some are acting. Right. Nick Lindstrom of the Red Wings was not a talking leader. He was on the ice, I'm going to lead you.
Yeah.
I suspect Sasha Barkov is also not a very vocal leader. His actions lead, what he does on the ice every single second from practice to game is how he leads. Whereas there are other captains who are much more vocal, much more dominating personalities in the room, where I think Mark is much more like that. I think he's a much more vocal leader. And for the people who watch this podcast, we don't know basically anything about the locker room politics. We know who the funniest guy is. We know it's Ben Hutton, Bobby Orr.
It's Bones.
Oh, it's Bones, according to Jeremy Lozon. But let me ask you this, and it's going to be a hard question for you to answer. If Bruce was the chef who had to make the recipe, is the guy who put the groceries in the grocery cart also partially responsible?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's Kelly's job.
Well, that's exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, how much of it is because Bruce doesn't do the grocery shopping, right? He's given the ingredients by Kelly and George, and then this. So, do you think any responsibility falls on Kelly for this?
For Bruce or for the whatever?
For the play of the team.
Okay. I just want to clarify.
Yeah, no. We wouldn't. Anybody that would get into that sort of a stupid argument, conversation about Kelly's. No, that's fucking idiocy. I'm talking about does Kelly have any responsibility for the ingredients in the stew that he gave to Bruce that ultimately went stale and led to Bruce's firing?
It's 100% Kelly's responsibility to put the product on the ice. If the product expires on the shelf before it has a chance to be used properly to bake the cake, that's what's going to happen. So, and that's a tricky question because Kelly goes to the grocery store a couple times a year, right? It's not like it's all here.
It's not Sundays at Walmart.
Right. But the point I'm getting at is this. We have us before talking about Bruce going, man, what the hell? These players are not getting their shit together, blah, blah, blah. Like, we're like, what the fuck's wrong? What is going on? Is it panic button time? John Tortorella comes in and literally said at practice, he's like, I came in way later than normal, right? He goes, but this is a good hockey team. So his mentality is, fuck yeah, I get to walk into Vegas where they have the potential to do something really big because they've got the players, because Kelly and George put them there. I'm in, right? It's a different mentality of, I don't know, who's the bottom of the league right now?
Vancouver.
Yeah, right. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, they were just here. Torts gets the call. Hey, you want to come back and coach Vancouver? It's like, okay, I will, because I'm a fucking champion and I'm a competitor.
And I'm a hockey coach.
Right. But it's a different mentality going in, knowing you have to you're in a rebuild, or you've already got all of the right things. So looking back at all of it based on all the trades that have happened over the last, let's say 5 or 6 years, I mean, I don't think anybody can fault Kelly. And obviously I'm going to stand up for him till the fucking death, but like, really? Really? You're going to, come on. I saw people talking shit about Logan Thompson again the other day. Guys, get off the fucking Logan Thompson trade. Get off. Like, I actually don't read a lot of social media comments because I don't have the mental capacity for it.
That's why I tag you in some fun ones.
I know, some of them I don't even read because I'm just like, I don't understand. And like the one the other day, I was like, I feel like I'm having a stroke. It's not because of what they said. It's because the paragraph was this long. Yeah. There was a run on. I'm like, I physically at 6 a.m. cannot process this, and I don't want to. I don't care. So I appreciate people commenting, but I'm like, if you've, and this is going back to what I was talking about the skating and everything at practice today. If you've, never mind if you don't even like know how to skate, which most of you motherfuckers don't. If you've never played on a hockey team, and you don't know what a practice is supposed to be like, and you don't know what a game is supposed to be like, don't comment that somebody made the wrong decision. That somebody who's worked in hockey for 40 years, and you've had a team here for 5 minutes, yes, they made the wrong decision. Vegas has never had a losing team. They've never not made the playoffs. They were in the Stanley Cup, one time. Well, yeah. But like, you know what I mean, right? Like, they made the Stanley Cup final 2 times in 9 years. Would you take that every day of the week in your first 10 seasons if you were going to be given a franchise? Fuck yeah, you would. There's
a lot to, we're what? 20 minutes in, and we haven't really scratched the surface of what the hell happened. I think that, well, let me go back, because this is an interesting question. And you don't have to say anybody. You can say, I don't think it was anybody. Or you're going to be put in a difficult position because I'm going to ask you to condemn somebody. Who's the Vegas Golden Knights' Jake DeBrusk? You know the reference?
Yeah. So the
should we? Yeah.
Well, we have
to share the reference, right?
The thought is that Bruce left Boston.
After Bruce left, yeah. Jake DeBrusk came out and said, "Bruce was mean to me. He's mean to the players." You got a chance to talk to his dad, right? When you were doing your spring flower show with the pink and yellow going on.
So background on that. I was standing there talking to Louis DeBrusk, who does color for the Oilers, and I was wearing a lime green dress, and Louis was wearing like a pink shirt with a pink tie. And Sean Burke walked between us and said, "You two look like a flower vase." And I laughed so hard. And of course, Louis laughed too, right? But I was talking to Louis about how Jake's liking Vancouver and how things are going. And Louis was like, well, he's like, first of all, we were talking about Boston. He's like, I love Boston. It's so great, you know, whatever. And he goes, Louis went from playing on an original six team in the U.S. to playing on a team in Canada. And he's starting to realize how difficult it is to play on a Canadian team that pretty much everyone hates outside of Vancouver. And it's such a different vibe. And he didn't realize how much he was coasting it, like mentally or whatever, in Boston with that. And Jake DeBrusk is a fantastic hockey player. And I don't think Bruce got let go of Boston because of Jake DeBrusk. There's like all this other shit.
Right, but it's the similar symptom.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? The message goes stale, coach gets fired. Yeah. I'm not going to condemn anybody, but Jack hasn't looked right since he got back from the Olympics to me. And I don't know if that's just sheer physical exhaustion, because we've talked about it, the immense amount of hockey that they've played, or if he is showing, you know, he's pretty expressive on the ice. You have to watch really intently to see it, and you can see when he skates and when he doesn't skate, and when he puts forth effort and when he doesn't look like he's putting forth as much effort. I wonder if he checked out.
So every single player is different.
Sure.
Right?
A coach manages 20 different corporations every single night.
Yeah, and Edmonton was here a couple times in a couple of weeks, and the second time last week or whatever it was I forget what day, 20 something. These guys were all coming into this game, no points in 9 games, no points in 9 games, no points in 9 games. McDavid had 25 points in 14 games since the Olympic break. So is it exhaustion or is it this? And I think it's this. And that's not on Jack. Like, that's not.
No, it's not. But he's the easiest to identify because he's their best player. And when he goes on those extended scoring droughts, when you look at the silly statistic of all time that Colton Sissons has more power play goals than Jack Eichel this year.
No. Which right, is not, because Eichel's not out there to score goals on the power play as a playmaker.
Right, that's why I call it the silly statistic.
But fucking Rasmus Anderson has more shorthanded goals than Jack does on the power play. It's like I think that going back, looking at the whole thing from the top, as far as like you asking, I don't think like Jack's like that situation, right? But one thing about Kelly, he don't play. If you don't like it here, get the fuck out. You're gone. You don't screw around in this regime. You don't get to act like an ass. You don't get to be a baby. You don't get to do those things, because it will get back to Kelly. He's observant as fuck. He might not say it, but he sees everything. And I don't think any of the guys are really like that, to be fair. I just think that the way there's certain times when I see Jack on the ice that he looks like he's playing scared. Like hurt, you know, when a guy gets hurt and they're a little timid to go in the whatever. I feel like Jack has just been poking the stick. When there was a play behind the net, I'm like, yeah, Jack, don't take the puck or the man. Just fucking, even you said, yep, just skate right by.
Drive by.
Yeah, I don't understand. And we'll see something different, I think, with John here. I better say Torts, because everyone's like, who the fuck are you talking about?
His first, in case you're not aware, his first name is actually John. So thank you. You're welcome for that. John Tortorella is the coach's name. I
know. It's anyway. So, but I think that, we talked about some of the things that we saw where they were out there for 2 minutes on the power play. Like, nobody can do that.
And we saw in the Vancouver game, they actually had 2 full line changes during one power play. They went from power play 1 to power play 2 and back to 1. Yes, they got the benefit of the whistles to do that. It wasn't on the fly stuff. But I think I specifically asked you, when was the last time you saw 2 changes on a power play for the Golden Knights? And the answer is never.
Well, and in Bruce's last game, we actually saw on the penalty kill 4 lines.
Yeah, 4 pairs.
Yeah. Mitch was started and Mitch ended. And now going back to the Jack thing, not to kind of jump all over the place, but my point about all this is Mitch is just unbelievable. Like, this guy just sees shit. It's like, how in the fuck did Mitch see that? People that sit up with us don't even see it from the top. But
we do.
Right. But Mitch only has 71 points this year. How come? And I'm not blaming Mitch or anything. Like, Mitch doesn't look like he's lost a stride. That's why I don't really quite understand what's going on with Jack. I don't know. Maybe Jack mentally is like a head coach. Maybe he needs a change every few years. I don't know. People are stimulated differently. Like, you look at Connor McDavid. He took less money because he wants to win so bad. That's just a different mentality than Kaprizov. I don't give a fuck if we win or not. Just give me 16 mil. He can give a shit. He's a Russian. He's here to make money. He doesn't fucking care. So I don't know. We didn't solve anything there.
No, we didn't solve much of anything. I think that there's no real way to extrapolate this last 7 or 8 games. Does it change the does the coaching change the expectation for the Vegas Golden Knights?
Yes. Now you're going to make the playoffs. Yes. That's the whole reason we brought your ass in here with 8 games left, is to make the playoffs. The expectation is that we brought in an experienced winning coach, which Bruce was a winning coach. But yes, we're going to make the playoffs, 100%. Even the other night, before the Vancouver game, I was talking to Kelly and I was like, how are you? Like, how are you? He's like, it's tough, man. It was really tough. He's like, everybody loved Butch. Everybody had a great relationship with him, and it's tough. And I go, but it's business. He goes, exactly. It is business, but it's tough. And I said, well, we'll see. And he goes, I said, well, I think I'm bad luck because every time I forget what I said. And he goes, oh, we'll win tonight. And that was against Vancouver. And I looked at him, I go, fuck yeah, you will. And he started laughing. I'm like, there was no doubt in my mind that those guys were going to win. And we talked about the first period, and John Torts said, he goes, I thought our first period was rough, and then I went back and watched the replay, and he goes, it wasn't as bad as I thought. And then they rolled. So yeah, they're going to make the playoffs, and it's going to be because John shook shit up.
So you believe that if they wouldn't have made this change, the team would have fallen all the way out of the playoffs?
No. It would have been like, sorry,
smack you in the fucking head.
Well,
you do that
mean?
juggling
when old
ball
people
dance.
go at 6s, like 6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
Whatever.
You know how us old people do that,
right.
Not the youngins. No, I think it would have been too much up in the air.
So it changes. It changes. The dynamic has certainly changed, right? New voice. He has very clearly stated he's not here to change systems and everything like that. His systems in Philly and other places are parallel, semi-similar. They both play zone in the D zone, and there's nothing more. They're not. You can't change systems in 8 games. Torts said, "I want him to play north. I want him to be faster." That's gonna be the message. My thought is, they just have to get out of their heads.
Yeah.
They just have to. You know what? They're the best hockey players in the world, on the whole fucking planet of 8 billion some people. They just have to stop thinking. Think about when they were 10, 11, 12 years old. We called them squirts and peewees. Now they call them under 10 and under 12.
Oh, you can't use the word peewee anymore.
I can use peewee, retard, fag, and everything else I want to use.
We use midget.
Midget was after Bantam.
Yes. Midget is 17 and under.
Yeah.
Fuck, you can't use midget no more, apparently.
I love midgets.
What? Shadow ban, Bjorn. So, but this goes back to what I was saying about practice. You could see it was an old school practice. And I think when you look at how all these kids were raised, it was old school shit. And that's what it's going to be. So I think that's going to help a lot.
So if the expectation has changed now that they're going to make the playoffs, and we'll get into the record and we'll finish up with that. this is a weird kind of audition, right? It's only 8 games.
Pulling up stats. Sorry.
What makes this successful for John Tortorella?
Making the playoffs.
Just getting there?
I think so. I think that
If he, I'm sorry to interrupt.
No. I think you should have.
If they make the playoffs, is he getting a contract? What? Let me rephrase the question. How much do they have to do that Torts is the head coach next year? Let's try it that way.
Well, obviously making the playoffs is huge. I guess it's going to depend. I don't really think, I feel like John Tortorella's in the position every other head coach who didn't have a job would kill somebody to be in. It's a win-win for him.
Well, listen, he said it really eloquently. I've been in rebuild mode for 5, 6, 7 years. I mean, he took a dog shit club in Columbus and got him to the playoffs. Yeah. He took a dog shit club in Philly and turned him into something, having Carter Hart in net. So he has good knowledge of Carter Hart. He's walking into a proven winning club now. He doesn't have to teach as much now. He needs to figure out how to get inside their little fucking heads and get them out of their little fucking heads. Let them go fucking run wild and play like they were 12, right? Go out, have fun, play the game that you love, play it to the best of your ability. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Make mistakes of aggression, not of passive, right? Don't shy back and make a mistake. If you're going forward and you're trying to do something and it turns out to be a mistake and it goes the other way, doesn't matter. A mistake of aggression is a fair mistake. I want those. Mm-hmm. To me, that's the key. The X's and O's don't change that much. They still have a bona fide Stanley Cup contending roster. Mm-hmm. Do they have warts? Sure they do. The reality of the goaltending is the reality of the goaltending. You can't, lipstick on a pig is still a pig. But the pedigree of this team, the winners on this team and in the room, the enthusiasm of the new people that have been brought in recently. I heard somebody was ragging on Nick Dowd and Cole Smith, and I was just like, you just shut your fucking hole right the fuck now.
Get up and right. Are you fuck? I can't. We're not. No.
So, but what is it going to take for Kelly to give Torts the keys for next year?
I think you kind of touched on it a little bit. I think it's going to depend on what Kelly sees from a technical standpoint.
It's a straight up eye test.
Yeah.
100%.
And I asked Torts a question at practice, and it kind of goes hand in hand with the way I know Kelly thinks and the way a head coach should think and XYZ. And I said, when you're talking about juggling the lines, like, because he was like, I just kind of came in and was like, let's see what's going to happen. And I said, do you feel like it was an easier game plan or whatever to juggle the lines against, you got Vancouver and coming up Calgary, your first 2 games in teams that are not in the playoffs, they're not contenders, or would you have had the same game plan no matter what? And I loved his answer. And he said, he goes, absolutely. He goes, but I go with my eyes and my gut. I will change lines on the fly. Because he has said, I don't know what I'm going to do with Mitch. I'm going to move Mitch around. And he goes, and I've had the conversation with Mitch. Mitch gets it. They're professionals. Same thing with Jack. He goes, I'm going to move Jack around. I need to see what works. And he goes, if I'm in the middle of a game and it's not working, I'm going to make a change. And he's like, and he's straight up, he looked me dead ass and goes, I've got a lot of flack for that, but I don't really give a shit. Sold. And I go, obviously I have opinions of Torts and whatever. And I just went like this. I went, and he's like, that's just what I do. And that's the way my mindset has always worked. If your lines aren't working, you fucking juggle them. Stop screwing around. We've seen a multitude of coaches juggle their lines, even as far as up to the Stanley Cup final. If it ain't working, you got to juggle it. So it's going to be little things like that. If Kelly sees, Kelly's done it all. He's done it all. He's played, he's coached, he's managed, he's owned, he's done it all. So if he sees those qualities in John Tortorella, that he's looking for this franchise that he saw in Bruce 4 years or 3, whatever.
4 years, right.
He's going to stick with him. So it's not necessarily like, well, if we get to the second round, he's going to have a job. And if not, he's out. It's like, is he making the right? Hockey's a long-term thing, right? You play for now, but you also got to think about later, next year, the year after.
So if he's pushing the buttons the right way.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. And I mean, everyone knows John Tortorella's coaching style. It's not like we're like, who, like,
he's not a mystery to anybody.
No. And he said, he goes, I've got a reputation for being a tough coach, and that might have been when he said, I don't really give a shit. Like, fuck yeah. I almost said, fuck yeah. And of course I didn't, but I should have. So I think that's what he's going to look for, to see if John is the chef that can bake the shit properly. That makes sense?
It does. It looks to me that there are some similarities. Think about Rick Bowness in Columbus. Okay? The only difference is Rick Bowness in Columbus has had a half a season to turn around a really bad club, and they're going pretty good. They might
make the fucking playoffs.
They might make the playoffs, but he was on the same kind of it was a show me deal. He talked to the GM, and for those of you who don't know, his wife was ill and he got out of coaching. He just needed some time away, and now thank God his wife is doing better and he's back behind a bench.
He's a fucking beauty.
But he still doesn't know if he really wants to. I think he's 71, maybe 72 years old. But it's the same sort of concept. It's like a show me deal, right? You've had success other places in the NHL. You would say Bones, not our Bones, went into a significantly more difficult situation than the situation that Torts has walked into with the Golden Knights. He's just got to get in their heads and get them out. I think if we didn't say another word for this episode, that has to be the goal. Stop fucking. If you got to eat a gummy and play high a little bit or have a couple of pops before the game, get out of your own head. Just go play hockey. Because if they just go play hockey, they are more talented than most teams in the NHL.
100%.
Right? And that is the grocery shopper who gave the items to make the beautiful cake. Now they just have to go out and do it. And I don't know if I want to say hope or expectation. My expectation is that they are a prideful bunch and they should be a little embarrassed and they should want to go out and prove that they are what people have been expecting of them the entire season. And they certainly haven't shown it through the first 74 games or 75 games or whatever it was. And the jury's out. We'll see. I had to wait for the DirecTV guy today, which was important so I could have television.
That is of the utmost.
Yes. Yeah. So I am cautiously optimistic that he can do it. He has a track record of doing it. He has a track record of not, blowing shit up if it needs to be blown up. If you're an NHL coach, this is the dream opportunity.
That's what I'm saying.
It's like, and this is a dumb reference, but hey, you want to coach the Harlem Globetrotters? We're going to play the Washington Generals 174 times this year. Yeah, I'll take 174-0, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't have to do any teaching. He doesn't have to do any heavy lifting. He doesn't have to do any labor. He doesn't have to bring anybody up to speed. Everything's in the mixing bowl. Every ingredient to win, I don't want to say the Stanley Cup, but every ingredient to go deep into the playoffs is right fucking there in his mixing bowl. All he's got to do is figure out how much of each thing to sprinkle in, put it in the fucking oven, and get it to do its job. Play the fucking game.
I think the thing with Bruce is the flour was flying out of the bowl. And now we're trying to pick the flour up with our hands and put it back in. It's never going to work. And so it's not, again, just going back, it's not, this whole thing is not Bruce's fault. It's usually not a head coach's fault. It usually isn't. But I will say that at practice, I saw such little looser guys, serious, but what I loved.
Focused.
Yeah. But also what I loved was the shit they were giving Aiden Hill. Like just for fun, right? When I think Aiden Hill's in a bad spot. Goaltenders are all mental. Everything is upstairs for a goaltender.
Cuckoo for fucking Cocoa
and you can
Puffs.
see that it's like being in a batting slump. So they're doing these quick drills, 2-on-1 today, bang, bang, 1 over, bang, in the net. And poor Aiden was just getting his fucking tits lit. I mean, every time. And Keegan happened to be, and Keegan just likes to have a good time. And I think he's a really good guy to be in that dressing room right now, because he can be serious, but he can also be every time Hill got scored on, they're like, whoa, like just giving him shit, right? You got to keep it loose like that, because you can't get frustrated or let your goaltender know that you're frustrated with him. If that goaltender thinks that whole team is against him, he's fucked.
He's done.
Yeah. So I was really happy to see those guys giving Aiden Hill a little bit of shit today, because it just kind of kept it light. He's got 2-on-1 coming at him nonstop, just getting fucking peppered. And so they're just razzing the shit out of him every time, right? Like it was all good.
You want to talk Golden Knights, or you just want to wrap this episode up?
What do you mean? We just did talk Golden Knights.
I mean, talk about the specifics of the wares.
I mean, we can, but so much shit is going to change.
Nah, I don't think so. That's going to wrap up the Bruce Cassidy / John Torts Tortorella. In case you guys didn't get the message 25 times earlier in the episode.
But literally, who? John, who?
Yes, John Tortorella. That's the biggest news. Next week, we'll have a lot more to talk about, because we'll have 5 or 6 games under our belt, and we'll be able to see exactly where they are, if they're going, where they're going. They're still in a tight race. I don't think they're going to catch Anaheim, but the 2-3 is up in the air. They can force Edmonton to win just by doing their job and winning games.
Yeah, well, Edmonton's, becoming a bit of a wagon right now. Like, they're starting to fucking click. They're starting to roll. And word from my people is that if Edmonton and Vegas play in the first round, Leon's coming back. So if it's not Vegas, Leon might not. Because what does that say to you? That's like the conversation we were having today. Like some of those guys, we were just kind of waiting for John to get off the ice so we could go in the back and whatever. And they're like, oh, if we have to play Anaheim in the first round, we're fucked. I'm like, what? Are you fucking serious? I can't. No.
You have
and
to.
I'm like,
you have to name names.
And I'm like, no, but it was several of them talking about how tough Anaheim would be to beat. It's not like, and I go, stop. I go, Anaheim doesn't. I don't give a fuck if you don't have the experience. It's like Buffalo.
They don't have one ring. I don't think Anaheim has one ring in the room.
Well, that's what I said. I go, there's
idiots.
Not only is there Stanley Cup experience, there's leadership experience, there's game experience. Just because Buffalo has 100 points doesn't mean they're going to win the fucking Stanley Cup or even contend for it. And I'm like, guys, but they're like, but if we play Edmonton, it might be worse. I'm like, that's a fair statement because of the pedigree, so Anaheim's still finding their way kind of thing. Anyway, we talked more about this. Sorry.
Yeah, so that's it. I don't want to talk about anything else. This was, we're on our schedule, so we couldn't really jump on and do this on Sunday, but it certainly is the biggest news of the VGK year.
If fucking Bjorn would come in on a Sunday, we could have had you guys dialed in long time ago, but no. Sunday, it's my day off. The fuck, we could have come in Sunday? Oh, damn it.
Thanks to all 467 subscribers. We really do appreciate it. We'll be back next week with a lot more specific VGK talk, and we might even have a Carter Hart appearance. Right?
Fucking A.
Wouldn't that be something?
See. He looked really good at practice, so I think he'll be in between the pipes before we know it.
All right. The Bruce / John Torts Tortorella episode is in the books. We're out of here. See you next week.